Thank you so much. That breaking news that we mentioned at the top of the broadcast is a big story tonight. The Giants have announced, with great sadness, we announced the passing of San Francisco Giants legend and Hall of Famer Willie Mays, who's passed away peacefully this afternoon at the age of 93. I'm joined by Vern Glenn. Obviously, it's hard to imagine a more impactful sports figure here in the Bay Area. And I know you know that he had some health problems as of late.
He called me Pee-wee, Sarah. That was his pet name for me, Pee-wee. I mean, how many people can say that? We go back to when I got to this market, and he just was full of zest and life all the way to the very, very end. Energy, even when the health issues were just weighing him down and preventing him from travel. We're 2 days before the Giants are supposed to play at Rickwood Field in Birmingham, where he grew up, the field where he roamed and made great plays all through high school before he was drafted by the Giants in 1950. But Willie, more than the ball player, I mean, he was just simply a kind-hearted man, a guy that he just, bring your kids up here. Let me play with them. I mean, and he was sensitive enough where he knew that if you came up and started talking to him, other people were going to start talking to him, and we would never be able to get away and get home. But I will miss his humor. I will miss the cackle. He had this heart infectious cackle that he would have in the locker room. I will miss his presence around the younger ball players, telling old stories, just holding the bat. He had huge hands, Sarah, and just what a measure of man. But 93 years. I mean, that was a good long life. And I'll say this: he did win the World Series in 1954, and he had the great over-the-shoulder catch. When he got to San Francisco, I mean, he was the ticker tape parade all through Market Street. Willie and the Giants, they started playing at Seal Stadium, and he was larger than life. But here's where the reality sets in, Sarah. He could not live where he wanted to live because of the color of his skin, even in San Francisco. Now, he did choose a place. He's got several homes all over the country, but even at that, there was that reality. As great a ball player as he was, you want to live here? No, sorry, you can't. But Willie dealt with it, and he took his ill will onto the field, left that in the clubhouse, and played again with so much joy day after day.
You mentioned that he was not traveling to Birmingham this year. He gave a statement to the San Francisco Chronicle that said he wouldn't be able to get to Birmingham, but he had plans to follow the game back here in the Bay Area. He said, "My heart will be with all of you who are honoring the Negro League ball players who should always be remembered." Obviously, this is going to be something that many, many teams across Major League Baseball will be reacting to. We are awaiting a longer statement from the San Francisco Giants. We will bring that to you as soon as we get that, including perhaps some media availability. And we do have a reporter heading to the ballpark right now to Willie Mays Plaza to get some reactions.
I will get this in. I'm glad that he lived long enough where Major League Baseball could embrace the Negro League stats into the current stats that they have today. And he did play for the Birmingham Barons, as we had talked about, and got on the Giants' radar, and they just snatched him up. But there you see the man. You see the throngs of people just waiting to get to him, and that's the way he was wherever he would show up. There were famous stories of him showing up with the New York Giants, grabbing a stick and playing stickball in the streets. Yeah. So it just was something. I believe we do have an obit. Is that right, Sarah?
Yes. Again, Willie Mays has passed away today at the age of 93. Here's more on his life and legacy.
Here's a pitch to Willie. Swung on, hit deep to left. That one is way back. Finished by number 600 for Willie Mays.
To say Willie Mays was a great baseball player is an understatement. You cannot mention the 5 greatest players of all time without bringing him in the discussion. Born in 1931, the son of a steel mill worker, Mays learned the game at an early age, and although his Alabama high school had no baseball team, it was clear that sport would define him. At 16, he was playing for the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro Leagues. The day after he graduated from high school, he signed with the New York Giants, and by age 20 was in the majors playing games at the Polo Grounds. That was 1951. His career was briefly put on hold for 2 years because of military service. By 1954, he was back in a baseball uniform doing what he did best. His over-the-shoulder catch in the '54 World Series win over Cleveland is still considered by many the greatest catch in the history of the game because it was the first of its kind. He was the National League's most valuable player in 1954.
I think I've got you. Did you hit your 31st home run today? Do you play center field? Are you say, hey, Willie Mays?
It was his bat that did a lot of the talking. For 8 years running, he drove in over 100 runs. His 660 career home runs is fourth all time. His career batting average was .302. By 1958, the Giants had moved from New York to San Francisco.
From the wonderful world of sports, we bring you Home Run Derby.
High fly ball into right center field. This may go all the way. It's way back there and gone into the right center field bleachers.
He led them to the 1962 World Series and became team captain in 1964. That was followed by another MVP award in 1965. Almost 40 years after he retired in 1973 as a New York Met, he was considered baseball's greatest living ball player, a label of which he took offense.
I never liked that. Well, if you're the greatest ball player, you just say you're the greatest ball player, rather not the living ball player. What good is that? I heard that when I first heard it. I don't know if you were around. When I first heard it, I said, well, wait a minute. You mean I got to be passed away before you guys give you credit for doing something?
He was inducted to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1979.
I arrived in New York City on a Friday at 4 o'clock, scared to death with 3 bats in my little briefcase, my glove. I didn't have a uniform. I didn't have a hat. Leo said to me, son, as long as I'm manager, you are my center fielder. You do not have to hit. Just go out and catch the ball. And from those words from Leo DeRocha, I think, gave me a little courage.
When AT&T Park first opened, a landmark statue was erected in his honor at 3rd and King Streets in San Francisco. By then, his godson, Barry Bonds, was setting home run records of his own. When Bonds passed Mays on the career home run list, Mays was there to pass on the torch. In fact, Mays was a fixture at the ballpark, often hanging around the clubhouse, telling stories and passing on wisdom to current Giant players.
And one of the greatest players that's ever lived. It's awesome to get a chance to come out and talk to him.
He brings a lot of history with him, not only about him, but with him to the game every time he's here.
Here it is. Struck him out.
After San Francisco won the World Series in 2010, Mays returned to New York to share the title with Giant fans there.
I used to go up and down this street all the time, so I'm familiar with this area. That's why I wanted to come back and let all of the young people know what I was doing here.
The Polo Grounds Stadium is gone, but the streets where he once played stickball is there. Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid.
Say hey, say who, say Willie, that Giant kid is great.
His position in the history of baseball will live on forever.
Wow.
All right, so there are some legends at Rickwood Field right now. Dusty Baker is there. His godson, Barry Bonds, is there doing all these activities as an homage to Mays. So I can only imagine just the shock that they're feeling right now with the news coming out that the Say Hey Kid is gone.
Welcome back. We're continuing our breaking news coverage of the passing of Hall of Famer Willie Mays. I'm Sarah Donchie alongside Sports Director Vern Glenn. Ann Makovic joining us from the newsroom with much more on reaction that's pouring into this. Ann?
We're hearing right now from both Willie Mays' real family and his Giants family. Of course, the Giants releasing a statement from Mays' son, Michael, saying, I want to thank all of you from the bottom of my broken heart for the unwavering love you have shown him over the years. You have been his life's blood. Larry Baer, the Giants president and CEO, remembering Mays saying, "I fell in love with baseball because of Willie, plain and simple. My childhood was defined by going to Candlestick with my dad, watching Willie patrol center field with grace and the ultimate athleticism over the past 30 years, working with Willie and seeing firsthand his zest for life and unbridled passion for giving to young players and kids has been one of the joys of my life." And Giants chairman Greg Johnson saying, "Today, we have lost a true legend in the pantheon of baseball greats. Willie Mays' combination of tremendous talent, keen intellect, showmanship, and boundless joy set him apart." He goes on to say a 24-time All-Star, the Say Hey Kid is the ultimate forever Giant. He had a profound influence not only on the game of baseball, but on the fabric of America. He was an inspiration and a hero who will be forever remembered and deeply missed. That is an understatement. We're going to keep bringing you remembrances all night long. Please share your memories by tagging us at KPIX. Sarah and Vern.
All right, Ann, thank you so much. And we are joined now by Reverend Amos Brown. He is the president of the San Francisco branch of the NAACP. Reverend, thank you so much for talking to us. What is your reaction to this news, this shocking news today?
I just got word, and it was shocking because we are losing too many of our icons who, though they were achievers, they were not egocentric, self-centered, or a disgrace to the human race. It was about pulling people together. He was about using his gift as a means of lifting others up, inspiring our young people to be great athletes, yes, but more importantly, to be altruistic and enabling the human family to become increasingly more of what Dr. Martin Luther King envisioned, and that was a beloved community in which no one became the other or was excluded from equality of opportunity, justice, love, and peace.
Reverend Brown, this is Vern Glenn talking to you, and if you could speak to how much restraint he would have to have as he was coming up. We all know that he was cheered by the home team, but when you're on the road and you hear those catcalls and you hear those words, it's so easy for an athlete, especially one of his stature, to react. But the fact that he held his tongue and turned his back and kept playing with as much joy as possible, I think spoke volumes. What say you?
The ancient Greeks said, he or she whom the gods would destroy, they first make mad. Well, Willie Mays has something on the inside that enabled him to not react to negativity, but he always responded with a positive air and attitude. And that's what we need more of in this world today. In a world that's not perfect, but we have people who are tough enough, who are loving enough, who are self-giving enough that they do not harm, hurt, or cause horror for any other human being.
Reverend Brown, I call him a Hall of Famer's Hall of Famer. Put your fan cap on right now and explain to me, in your view, why he was so much of a cut above the great ball players who are also in the Hall of Fame.
It's because he was grounded. He came from good soil. He came from a great mold that made the man. Henderson says in Ulysses, I'm a part of all that I have met. Willie Mays met. Good home training. A faith tradition that was about pulling people together and not defaming any human being.
Mm-hmm. Reverend Brown, I know we are probably going to see a tribute back here in the Bay Area in the coming days, perhaps unlike one we have seen for a sports icon. It's hard to imagine someone more storied and legendary than Willie Mays. What are you hoping to see out of that? I imagine we'll see something over at Oracle, Willie Mays Plaza. I imagine there are fans that are going to be gathering there, leaving flowers. What do you hope to see in the way of a tribute for Willie Mays here in the Bay Area?
The tribute to Willie Mays would be for more of us San Franciscans would become emulators of the mind, the manner, and the movement that Willie Mays committed his life to. If we really loved him, if we really appreciate his legacy, we ought to be more Willie Mays in this town. That's the best tribute that we could give.
Well put.
We get rid of this hate that's hiding in this town, this division that's in this town, this underachievement of our children that's happening in this town. We need to really make San Francisco an inclusive, excellent, empowering, effective city for all people.
Well, Reverend Brown, thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your thoughts on the Say Hey Kid. We knew that his health was failing and that perhaps the end was there, but nobody is prepared for something like this that happened today.
Of course, we'll have much more on the passing of Willie Mays coming up after this short break.
All right, we're talking about Willie Mays, the Say Hey Kid, who passed away at age 93 just a short while ago, alongside his Sarah Donchie, as we are talking about the man, the athlete, the presence, the impressions that he had on fans all over the Bay Area and beyond. And Sarah, I'll tell you, first time I ever met him was 1990. I was just getting started here in this market. I'm playing in a Joe Montana golf tournament. So I'm in the middle of the fairway. I'm sizing up a shot, and I'm taking my time too. And so it's a crowded course. So I'm lining up for this shot, and then all of a sudden a voice from behind me says, "Hey, Pee-wee!" I look up, and hit the ball. All right, so I'm kind of rattled, so I hit it. I finished the round because I don't know who's yelling at me. I come to find out it's Willie Mays. I find him after the tournament, and we laughed. I mean, it was the Mays cackle. He's telling jokes, but from that point on, my nickname for him was Pee-wee. But I will tell you this: when he's joking around, he would call me Vern. When he was serious, he would call me Vernon. Not very many people in this market called me Vernon throughout, but Willie, when he was serious, he would call me Vernon.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible. Obviously, the news reverberating across Major League Baseball. They put out a statement saying they're heartbroken to learn of the passing of Hall of Famer Willie Mays, one of the most exciting all-around players in the history of our sport. Mays was a two-time MVP, 24-time All-Star, 12-time Gold Glove Award winner, and a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. We have some video from that here for you now, that ceremony when he received the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Obviously, this was an incredibly special moment from former President Barack Obama. He has so much cultural significance. Let's listen.
He could throw and he could field, hit for contact and for power, and of course he was so fast he could barely keep a hat on his head. On top of that, Willie also served our country, and his quiet example, while excelling on one of America's biggest stages, helped carry forward the banner of civil rights.
Pretty incredible. Obviously, his influence extends well beyond the world of baseball and the world of sports.
And Sarah, you don't just get out of the car and just decide, I'm going to throw this Medal of Honor. That's the highest civilian honor that you can get.
The CBS Evening News is next. We'll have much more coming up at 7 o'clock.